Hi, I'm Brent Good, and I'm going to be talking about the second chapter of Hebrews today. And we're going to look at answering the question, why me? Why am I chosen? Why does God think so much of me? And sometimes we have to remind ourselves of this. And the truth of this chapter is really going to point that out to us. It starts out in verses 1 through 4. And in verses 1 through 4, we see this real warning that staying connected with Jesus is what keeps us from getting off track into all kinds of errors. And there's a direct connection between the intimacy we experience with God and how much we stay in his truth. And that's an active thing. That's a decision that we make continually to stay grounded in his truth. Verses 6, 7, and 8 are a quotation from Psalm 8, 4 through 6. And this passage is marveling that Jesus would make the decision to set aside his glory to come and dwell with us. This is something that the writer of Hebrews is marveling at, something that the writer of Psalms was marveling at. And we do the same thing. To think that Jesus would do all this for us is beyond our comprehension. In verse 9, it says that Jesus tasted death for everyone. This is the message of the gospel, that what Jesus did, he did for us. We participated in that, and he invites us into that. And as we continue this chapter, we're going to see that he invites us into more than just experiencing his death. We get to experience his life too. And that's really the beautiful part of this whole message. So verses 11 through 13 back up that point by saying, both the one who makes men holy and those who are made holy are of the same family. It's all about family. We're invited in. We're not second-rate citizens. We are sons and daughters of the King. He invites us in there. Verses 14 through 18 are a celebration of what it means to live in that identity. We can rest in the fact that we are sons and daughters of God. We didn't earn that position. We didn't do anything that made us worthy of that. The gospel says that because of what Jesus has done, we are accepted in, we're brought close, and there's nothing closer than family. And so we're free to live out of that identity. We don't have to keep striving to be there. We can rest that we're invited and we have a place there. So the conclusion here, how do we draw all this together? How do we live differently because of that truth? Well, the way I live differently because of that truth is that I continually remind myself, and I have these faith statements that I talk about and I remember and I continually rehearse. And they're statements of what Jesus says about me and about my value to him and who I am to him. And so as we rehearse these statements and as we continually remind ourselves of this truth, we're doing what the first part of the passage talked about. We're staying in the truth so that we don't veer off into misguided theology. We're staying correctly grounded in who we are in Christ. And out of that, then we can begin to invite other people into that kind of relationship. We only invite people into the relationship with Jesus that we've already experienced. And when this identity becomes real to us and we live it privately and publicly, we will draw people into that same relationship with Jesus. Thank you so much.